My favorite show is on.
You become emotionally untouchable. Most people are not cruel. They're simply distracted. The world isn't against you. It's just not focused on you. And when you accept that, you stop breaking from things that were never personal. One of the most painful illusions we carry is the belief that the world is paying special attention to us, to our failures, our flaws, our choices, our struggles. So when someone ignores us, criticizes us, forgets us, or doesn't show the reaction we expected, we take it as a wound to our worth. But warrior, here is the stoic truth. Most of the things you take personally have nothing to do with you at all. People are overwhelmed, they're anxious, they're rushed, they're exhausted. They're juggling regrets, responsibilities, insecurities, and quiet battles they never speak about. Their lack of warmth isn't an attack. Their forgetfulness isn't a message. Their indifference isn't rejection. It's simply life pulling them in 10 different directions. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone when he wrote that human beings act from their own impressions, not from malicious intent toward us. That means the cold tone, the slow reply, the lack of enthusiasm, the distant behavior. All of it reflects their internal turbulence, not your value. You're simply a bystander in their storm. When you internalize this truth, everything changes. You stop assuming the worst in others. You stop interpreting neutral behavior as hostility. You stop reading silence as abandonment. Instead, you begin to see people realistically, not as emotional judges of your identity, but as fellow prisoners of their own mental chaos. This shift grants you a type of emotional invincibility. Suddenly, you're not thrown off by someone's mood. You're not devastated by someone's inconsistency. You're not emotionally destroyed because someone didn't respond the way you wanted. You learn to maintain your center even when the world around you is unsteady. And that's where your power is born. In realizing that other people's indifference was never meant to define you. Think back to moments where you spiraled because of someone else's behavior. Maybe a friend didn't reply for days. Maybe someone didn't appreciate your effort. Maybe a colleague dismissed your idea. You analyzed it. You replayed it. You created stories in your mind. But here's the truth. They probably didn't think about it twice. You suffered for hours, days, maybe even weeks, for something the other person forgot in minutes. Stoicism teaches you to separate what is within your control from what is not, and the reactions, emotions, and attention of other people. Always outside your control. The moment you stop expecting consistency from inconsistent people, you become consistent within yourself. When you accept that the world is indifferent, 3 things happen. You stop taking things personally. You stop giving your peace away. You stop expecting emotional nourishment from emotionally empty people. This isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's not detachment from life. It's detachment from illusions. So let this truth settle into your heart. The world's indifference is not an insult. It's an invitation to anchor yourself. And when you stop absorbing every shift in others, you become unshakable. Part 5. When you realize no one cares about your failures, you stop fearing them. Most people forget your mistakes faster than you recover from them. Your failures are not headlines. They are footnotes. And once you accept that, you stop living in fear and start living in motion. We spend so much of our lives terrified of failing publicly, terrified of looking foolish, being laughed at, being judged, being talked about. We imagine our mistakes are massive, unforgettable events that everyone will remember forever. But the truth, warrior, is far less dramatic. People barely remember their own failures, let alone yours. Everyone is too busy dealing with their own embarrassment, their own regrets, their own insecurities to track your every misstep. Think about the last time you witnessed someone else fail. A friend who started a project and quit, a colleague who stumbled during a presentation, a stranger who made an awkward mistake. How long did you think about it? A minute? An hour? Then what happened? You moved on. You returned to your life, your responsibilities, your worries. Their failure didn't stay with you. It didn't haunt you. It didn't define them in your mind. It simply passed through your awareness and disappeared. And that is exactly what happens when you fail. People notice briefly, then they forget. The one who clings to the mistake is you. Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that human beings are consumed by their own thoughts, not yours. So, why fear failing in front of people who are barely paying attention? Why sacrifice your dreams for the approval of minds too distracted to remember your attempts? Failure becomes terrifying only when you believe it will follow you forever. But once you understand that people aren't waiting to see you fall, that most of them don't even notice, you free yourself from the chains of embarrassment. You stop hesitating. You stop overthinking. You stop holding back. You start taking risks you once avoided, not because failure disappears, but because the fear loses its grip. Think about the opportunities you didn't pursue because you were scared of looking foolish. Think about the ideas you never shared because you feared being mocked. Think about the passions you abandoned because you worried about opinions that would have faded anyway. How much of your potential has been buried under the fear of an audience that doesn't exist? Here's another truth. The people who judge you are projecting their own fears. People who mock are insecure. People who gossip are unfulfilled. People who criticize your attempts are terrified of making their own. Meanwhile, the people who matter, the ones building, striving, growing, they don't laugh at failure. They admire effort. They respect courage. They pay attention to persistence, not perfection. Once you accept that no one truly cares about your failures, you become dangerous, in the best way. You begin to experiment. You begin to speak boldly. You begin to act without hesitation. You become someone who moves forward while others stay stuck.